Hey friends, it's Dimitri with Rubashka Streetwear. So I'm gonna do the month in review in my car this time. Usually I do it in front of my desk, but I guess that doesn't really matter too much. So February was a pretty chill month. There really wasn't a lot of developments except for one really big development, and I'll get to that later in the video. So a few things that happened was I had some trouble this month with my creative process. It is very sporadic, and there are days and times where I am super creative and I just crank out designs and ideas and get stuff going. And there's other days where it is pretty difficult for me to do that, and I get kind of in a slump. And that's what happened this February. I was kind of in a creative slump. So I wasn't able to finish as many things as I wanted to, but I did still check off my goal of not doing like pre-orders or anything like that. And I did get out the files and designs and got everything in for the drop day. And that's kind of like my first point. So I have two printers, and one of them, they got the fastest turnaround time I've ever had in my business. I sent them a file on Monday, and they got the stuff done on Thursday of the same week, and the drop was on Friday. So that was really a good thing to happen. So this morning I was packing orders, and I packed up those shirts that I got in. So that was just a really cool thing. Maybe they had a slower week at the print shop or something, but they got those cranked out really fast. So I have my local printer, and then I have out-of-state printers. And I guess that is a good scenario of how well that can work out, having some local people and maybe some other suppliers that are abroad. The second kind of big thing that happened was, to me, I made a video about it. It was like an inventory discrepancy, how, one problem can be like three problems. Because, I misplaced a crew neck, and then the customer bought a hoodie, and this whole thing happened. You can scroll down and watch that video. That was a good lesson for me. But basically, other than that, February was pretty just a chill and slower month. There's also 2 to 3 less days depending. So a month is 30 or 31 days, and February is only 28 days. So in February, what I would recommend is you need to have some contingency plans to try to make up for those 3 lost days of business. And 3 lost days of business, depending on the size of your business, that means either hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in missed sales because you don't have those 3 days into the month. So what I would do in retrospective for next year, I'm going to do it, is put more effort and time into other things to generate more sales during that month, because you are missing 3 days of the year in that month. So it is going to be a slightly slower month for most people, unless, depending on the business, but because you just have less sales days. But other than that, I have a really big life development. So this was not in my cards for the new year. This is something that, it has been brewing inside my head for a while, but I wasn't planning on doing this. But something happened where it kind of coalesced inside myself, and I was praying about it. But I'm gonna have to be going back to my old job, but I'm gonna be going back part-time, and I'm gonna explain why and how this is gonna be a tremendous benefit to my business and my life. So my wife and I, I quit my job almost 3 years ago, and we've been doing fine and, crawling at a pace to our goals. So one of our 2 big goals is, start a family and get a house. And at the pace that we're going at to get to those goals right now, it's going to be unreasonable for me. So I'm 29 right now, and by the time those goals can really be fulfilled in a meaningful way, I will probably be like 35 or something like that. Because even with both our incomes, the cost of living and to purchase a house and start a family is going to be a tremendous responsibility, particularly for me as the guy. At some point in that process, I'm going to be the only person contributing income to our family, which is because my wife would be staying at home for a period of time. So all of that responsibility is going to be resting on my shoulders. And I was thinking about that for months and months and praying about it. And I thought that this is going to be the best way for me to sprint to that goal rather than crawl to it. Because right now in life, it's kind of at a crawling pace. And there's also half of it is a business aspect to it. So there are certain projects and things that I want to do in the business that are kind of at a standstill because of funds, because I need a cash infusion to do that kind of stuff. Because of the nature of the business and acquiring inventory and whatnot, oftentimes you're going to need large amounts of money to accomplish that. And some months there is not enough left over for me to invest into other areas of my business. I'll give you an example. So when you're running a clothing brand, let's say that you want to start embroidering your own hoodies. You're going to need to fork up around 10, 15 grand to get a nice embroidery machine. And realistically, the only way that you can do that is if you self-fund that or you take out some sort of loan to do that. So if you take out a loan, you're going to have this loan looming over your head, this debt that you're obligated to pay. If you self-fund it, that means that you're going to have to grow your business to the point where you can swing that kind of cost. And that is realistically an unreasonable goal to double, quadruple your business in such a short amount of time, because it takes years to get to that kind of level realistically. So there's a few goals I have with my business. So the first one is, like I said, there's certain projects and inventory stock and other things that I need a large cash infusion to get that going, which in turn is going to generate way more income for me in the long run in terms of the overall year. So if I plan things accordingly, this is going to be probably the most profitable year if I do that. And the second half of that goal for the business is I really need to build a facility, like a shop. And what the plan is so we've been saving for a house, but because of going back to my job, we're gonna compress that time scale to get to that goal dramatically. It'll compress that goal within like a year and a half, 2 years, rather than 5-8 years of getting to there. And so the whole idea with the shop is that I want to have a house it's going to need to have probably an acre at least. And we want to build a shop next door to it. So all the deliveries will be able to go to that place. And my work from home situation is going to be literally right there. So I'm going to be able to walk to the shop where it's going to house all the inventory and some machines that I might need. And it's going to be its own thing. And the other thing with that is that it's going to be a massive tax incentive to do that. So we're going to be saving up quite a bit of money with taxes for that. And I'm also going to be able to move out of my office, because right now I'm paying $800 a month for that, which in all things considered is really, really nice and affordable compared to other places. I got super lucky to even get that place. But if we're able to get a home and a shop, I'm going to be able to put that money towards the mortgage and towards building the shop, because that's going to require significant money. So this was not a decision that I necessarily wanted to make, but it kind of really coalesced in my head in a short amount of time, because I've been thinking what's the best strategy in life. And this is the other thing that happened too that I kind of understood. I was thinking in terms of 1 or 2 years, in my life right now. But this idea is a much longer term idea. This is gonna have like bigger compounding and better effects 10, 20 years down the road, because I'm gonna be able to sprint towards my personal and business goals way faster, and it's gonna be more rewarding for me. And what basically happened was, I was thinking about this and I contacted my former boss. So my former job, I was basically in charge of maintenance for a pretty big estate. My boss, he is a pretty wealthy businessman, really successful, has multiple properties. He has really intricate gardens and waterfalls and the whole sprinkler systems and lights, everything to do with the property I was managing. I was taking care of sprinklers, the lighting, I was taking care of the gardens, the yard, basically making it like super OCD and super clean and perfect every single day. There literally wouldn't be a leaf on the ground. Everything would be cleaned up by me every day, and it was a really fun job. The only problem with that job was that it was very taxing on my body, and mentally I just kind of broke with that. I got really burnt out. So what I did was, I negotiated with my boss and got a deal that was too good to refuse, literally. So the two parts of the deal was, I told him I'm gonna have to make sure I prioritize my health, and I'm gonna have to make sure I don't burn out, because I'd rather stay longer to accomplish my goals rather than just get burnt out again. So I have the most flexible schedule for that. He was like, okay, you can come in 1 day or 5 days a week, whatever you want, whatever times you want. So I'm going to be coming in part-time. And I also negotiated a 60% bump in pay, increase in pay. So I'm going to be getting paid like a really good amount of money. And what my plan is, all of that money is going to be put aside for the shop and for our home and for when we have a child, because that's going to require a lot of money. And the money that I make from my business right now is going to still circulate in the business and just go for living expenses and paying bills like I do right now. So my living standards are not going to increase really. It's just all of that back end income is going to be deployed towards my 3 big goals: starting a family, getting a home, and building a shop, and the cash infusion into the business. So when I look at this plan, I'm way more optimistic for this year, and it was like a dramatic departure from like some goals and stuff that I had. So this all of a sudden got sprung up, but it's been kind of brewing in the back of my head. I've been thinking about this over the past several months, and I think that this is going to be like one of the better years of my business. I think it's going to have the most growth and sales. And one other thing that's going to happen is there's going to be a shift in focus on my business, which has already occurred. So over the past almost 3 years since I've been doing it full time, I've invested significant amount of time into the systems, to getting them tweaked and better and figuring out all the nuances. So the business itself is running pretty much on autopilot. The only big things that really are super important is to make sure that designs are getting done, because that's really like where you're getting your income from, is customers buying your products and designs, and general fulfillment of orders and customer service. So those are going to be like my main focuses, is customer service aspect, fulfillment, and just focus on making cool products and designing. The other stuff, while I will be doing it a little bit, it's not going to have its main focus, and I am going to be, any extra amount of time that I have, I will be putting towards system building and tweaking things like I normally do. Another thing that's changed is that my wife is going to be helping me in some areas of the business. She is going to be folding, inspecting, packing clothes, doing the quality inspection, and there will be other tasks that I will delegate to her as time goes by that I have to teach her. And she already started that the other day, which is going to be really helpful, because I'm going to be able to just prioritize the main tasks that I have to do for my business. And also, I already started 2 days. I'm already 2 days in to working at my old job part-time again, and I'm really excited. The schedule is much better, the pay is significantly better, and it's just I'm really optimistic for this year, and that I'm going to be able to sprint towards my life goals. And it kind of feels like a lot of pressure's off of me, to be honest. The only thing that I'm going to have to be really careful of is to prioritize my health. So I'm going to have to still be very dialed in on what I eat and sleep and stuff like that, because even right now I feel pretty sore. I don't feel like wiped out, but I do feel sore from that job. But there's going to be a happy medium, happy balance to it, and that's all I'm aiming for. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm still going to be doing all the things that I'm doing with my business, still designing, still making YouTube videos, still doing all the Instagram stuff. So not much is going to change, but the way I'm going to get to my goals is going to change, and it's going to be much better for the future. So yeah, that's my month in review and my huge life update. If you guys got any value of this video, or if you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.